This is the Leo Clamaco Podcast.
So, it's very powerful,
That's
and I would love to see
incredible.
that come together. Yeah.
That's incredible. I would love to be a part of that.
I'm all about empowering some men out here because you know what? Not even that us women, we've been beat down by men, but a lot of men have been beat down
my
by
God.
women.
And that's why they beat down the next woman
Yes.
because they've been
Yes.
beat down.
The
And
pattern
not even
continues.
that.
Yeah.
And men are also trained that they're supposed to stand strong and they don't have
Right.
feelings, but they've been broken from childhood too.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even have relationships with their mothers. So if you can't have a relationship with your mother and know how to love a woman, how do you think you're gonna learn how to love another woman later on in life?
You're not.
So
Yeah.
so I have to say this mastermind that we had, I was so thankful for the men that showed up for our mastermind. They're all business owners, CEOs, very successful men. I saw some tears. from
There
these
were
men.
some tears.
And you know what? Also, they saw our pain and they were healing from our pain and they were touching us and holding on to us, and just the energy flow, it made it a safe space for all of us to recover from a female perspective and from a
Right.
male perspective.
Right.
Absolutely. That exercise that we did. So with men, it's like, you guys appear very handsome and strong and stoic and all this other things, but you also need to hear what people think about you.
Right.
And there was an exercise where we had to look at each other and say, hey, how do you see me? And ask the question. And I was with a gentleman.
Who am I?
And
Who was it? What was it? Who are you?
yeah, who are you? We asked them the question, but then we had to tell
It was
them.
we went deep.
Yeah, it was deep transformational work. So.
Yeah, and we had to go through and
Crazy.
tell them what we saw. So as I'm sitting across, from this gentleman that and I knew him, but I didn't know him, and just uncovering and telling him all the things that I saw he was. And when you hear that from somebody, and especially from a female, because
Right.
there's a lot of times where female, they don't recognize that, or if they do, they're not going to tell you. But men need to hear those things just as much as women do.
Wow.
And to say, just to say, hey, I see you as a strong man. I see you as a, a provider. I see you as a great father. I see you as this. And it's just like,
They don't get told that
They-
very
they
often,
don't.
They
They
don't get
don't.
love either.
Yeah.
So.
Like, wow, someone noticed.
yeah, exactly. They didn't notice just my money.
They have
Right.
They
feelings
noticed me.
too.
They see
Yes.
me.
Men have feelings too.
We're not
Yeah.
Very
robots.
emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We're put on this pedestal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to live up to it sometimes,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, it's people, man
Yeah.
or woman. Like, I don't really look at people that way. I look at people energetically where they're at on their healing journey.
Okay.
And what they're open to, because people get the same opportunities that we've gotten every day.
For
And
sure.
Some people take them and some people don't. And I don't think
Right.
it makes them good or bad. I think it makes them
just is, right?
just where they're at in their
Yeah.
healing and what they're able, if they're able to get into an uncomfortable, unfamiliar place that opens up an opportunity.
Right.
So I think as a whole, we're going to attract men for dining dudes and women for dining divas like us. If you're not in that energetic
If you're
space,
not vibrating the same
Yeah.
frequency.
they don't even want to be near us.
Right.
Because we're vibing at a whole different level.
But then I'm hoping that we're
And that's
inspiring
great.
them from afar because I
Yes.
feel like that's one of the things. Like you may not be ready for where we're at, but you can watch and learn and grow at your own pace and pick
Right.
up little nuggets. And that's like, just like with self-development, you're not going to watch a Lisa Nichols or a, Les Brown and all of a sudden you're going to be them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You have to do the work. You got to put in the work, the inner work and the
Repetition.
and all the different things that go into that. So, that's really to be inspiring is really the goal,
And it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're male or female, there's always space to change.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do believe you could teach an old dog some new tricks.
I believe so
all right?
too. If they're
I
open
believe
to
so
it.
too.
But a lot of people think
But if
no,
they're
you
open
can't.
to it.
Yes.
Yeah, but
be open to
majority
it.
of them,
That's the key. Yeah.
then, no, I'm just stuck in my ways, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
stay there. Because
Yeah.
I'm
They have
going
to be
here.
aware.
Yeah.
They have
Yes.
to be aware.
But a lot of
Yes.
people are not.
That's
Present,
not an easy
right?
journey
Yeah.
to go through healing. It's
not.
It's definitely.
You have to die and be reborn.
Yes.
Basically, right?
it's
And it's really hard to kill
challenging.
yourself while you're
But if
living.
you're willing,
Yeah.
And it's ongoing
worthy
work.
cost.
It's not like you're ever going to reach like this level and it's like, okay, I'm here and I'm done now. I mean, Tony
Right.
Robbins is still always working on himself,
It's
right?
the journey,
I
not
also think
the
that
destination.
counseling is one thing versus personal development.
Yes.
And
Okay.
if you don't believe in counseling, I suggest you try personal development with a group of people because
Yes.
it's a safe space. You're okay. You start hearing other people's story, and then you realize, well, that happened to me too. And it's more relatable than
Right.
sitting down in front of a counselor and just like, oh, you're this and this and this and this and this, and then, okay, here's some prescription drugs, whatever.
You know, I think
Right.
it depends on the experience because, like, I do a lot of personal development, and I have a great therapist, and
Right.
like, she is my homegirl. Like, we get on the Zoom, and she's like,
don't believe in
"Girl."
counseling there in
But
themselves.
you know, and sometimes it doesn't have to be anything is wrong because a lot of the times when I talk to my therapist, nothing is wrong. You know, I just want to be able to talk to that person who has all this vast experience and is not
Yeah.
living from their own experience, you know, to be able to just shed some light and help me process things. You know, we're doing big things.
Yeah,
We
no, I
got
know what you mean.
family. You're dealing with a lot of people. We're building businesses.
Yeah.
And those things you kind of have to process and you have to dig down deep and, you know, gain understanding. And so, like, I tell my therapist, I'm like, you cannot go on vacation anymore. Like, it is not allowed because I swear, you know, something crumbles. But I think that they're both great. And I think that when you participate, and this is just my opinion, it's not for everybody, but when you participate in personal development, if you just choose to participate in therapy, you can cleanse yourself out to be able to get so much farther, because when you're stuck here or you haven't, you know, just dug those things out of you to release them, then you just stay here and you're just piling it on. So
What do you think is keeping people there? Because a lot of people are
Fear.
stuck there.
Fear and lack of knowledge. So when I was going through everything with my children's, you know, father's death, I didn't know about counseling. They like go to church and pray. Get a Bible. That's what you need. You need Jesus. So, you know, that's all I knew, but I didn't know how to process
Jesus is
it.
great, but I think
he's
he's
great.
also a
I
little
mean,
bit more.
and he's always there with you, but it wasn't in my family counseling. Nobody knew about therapy.
Yeah.
Like, nobody did. And I think that, you know, knowing now, and I get my kids involved in that, I'm like, you got, you know, this is just going to help you in life. But I didn't know anything about that. And so I feel like not knowing that, not knowing what I know now,
Right.
I probably could have done a lot better and processed this better, and I wouldn't have been stuck for so long.
Well, I think a lot of people live in their heads. Like
Yeah.
that's why therapy is so great, because
Yes,
you get to
there's
let
that
it
too.
out and you get to hear what you're thinking in your mind. You actually say it out of your mouth, and then you get to hear it back in your ears
Yes.
again. And that's what therapy is so like. A lot of times you heal yourself just talking to your therapist without the therapist
Absolutely.
even talking
Right.
back to
Yeah.
you.
Because you realize things.
Yes.
Yeah, it's self-awareness because
Yeah.
you're hearing the words come out of your mouth, you know, and
Yeah.
I think that's what's really
Yeah.
good about it.
And then you're scary. You have to face yourself. Like,
Yes.
even I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know. Like, what are you going to ask me? What are you going to talk about?
Right.
You know, and it's scary for anyone. But then I think also for men too. It's just like, they're like, no, I don't need that. You know, I'm stoic. But
I'm stoic.
I mean, but you actually have to take a look within, and it's not so bad. Now, if you didn't make the mistake that I did, and I can't say it was a mistake, but I just didn't know about it. But had I not waited so long, I probably would have been able to get through things and release things so much earlier. And
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been so painful and so much, because there was a lot of stuff that I had to, you know, kind of just
Right.
peel back. And
Yeah.
then once it came, I'm like, this is the worst shit on earth. Like, I'm like, will it ever be over? And they said, you have to get through it. It's going to be tough. It's going to hurt. And you have to
Right.
go back through what you went through to get back. But once you get on the other side of it, it's going to be golden. I'm like, I don't see that. I don't feel it now. But I'm there. And so now I can honestly just say, for people who might not know about it and, you know, like, try it.
Yeah.
And who might have the fear, it's okay. You know, it's natural to be fearful of that. But I mean, and the personal development, it's ongoing. I love it. I'm a nerd. You know, I'm always looking for that personal growth and
Yeah, me
development.
too.
So for me, both of them.
I've been doing therapy for about 6 years now.
Okay.
I have a 2-hour therapy session every Thursday from
Wow.
9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Wow.
Every single Thursday.
That's awesome.
2-hour session every single Thursday. It's exhausting. I had it this morning. It's very
Now,
exhausting.
do you
yeah.
do you take notes throughout the week so you go into your therapy session knowing
do.
what you want to talk about?
I do, and I have homework.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's great. But, you know, majority of very successful CEOs have therapy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
because
You
you
have
have to
to.
have
Yeah.
somebody you can talk to that,
Yes.
number one, is not going to go tell your business everywhere, you
Yeah.
know, especially
Exactly.
when you're rising, you know, to certain levels, and somebody who can just be a good ear or a good sound, someone who's not judgmental on whatever it is that you're
Right.
dealing with. So I think it's very healthy. I've done therapy many times. I'm not currently, but I've thought about it. I was like, I probably should do that again. But I've definitely done it many times, and it's just such a great release. Whether it's a boyfriend,
It
a
really
daughter,
is.
you know, work stagnant situation, a
Yeah.
friend that's
Yeah.
like, you know, rubbing me the wrong way, whatever it is, you know.
Right.
But it's really helpful.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for it in everyone's journey. I think when it comes to grief,
That's a whole
there's
story.
there's
Yeah.
no right or wrong. I
Right.
have a ministry background, and I've been through holding the hands of many grieving people. And in that, the one thing I always say is you can't get this wrong.
Yeah.
You can't get this wrong. There's no right book. There's no
Right.
exact way. You have to process your grief the way that you're going to process it. Some people just cry for 2 weeks, and then they get up and they go into life. Other people need to go right to work the next day, and they take years to slowly process grief.
And deal with
Grief
it.
is a very personalized journey, and counseling is helpful. Having a tribe and a
Yeah.
crew
Yes.
of
Yeah.
people that are there for you and have the patience to be there and continue to encourage you and can help you on those days when you don't want to get up is a huge help. Self-development helps as well. I mean, there's so many different paths, but there isn't a wrong one.
Yeah, agreed.
Talk to me about your ministry past, please. That was very interesting.
She's a preacher's wife.
She was a preacher's wife.
Was.
That's a story I won't go into, but I was in ministry for 11 years.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed that time. I was a pastor's wife, and I really loved working with young girls.
It's incredible.
Just going through whatever they're going through, whether it's at home or relationships or friends or school, and just being able to encourage them and really just be a vehicle for God to use to help people heal. Just
Incredible.
allowing him to work through me with every opportunity that was given to me. And it was a wonderful time in my life.
What's your background?
I'm Italian.
Italian.
Yeah. My grandparents are from Italy on both sides, from Naples.
Very nice.
So I heard through, what was our guest's name?
Herman, the energy healer.
Herman, the energy healer, that I have a very strong bloodline, and it is my job to protect it. So if anyone knows how to protect the bloodline, please pass that information on to me, because I'm not sure exactly what that looks like.
Game of
But
Thrones, baby. Game of
I
Thrones.
think you're doing a good job. I think to protect your bloodline, it means to be authentic, to be true,
Yeah.
to heal, right? To heal that karmic energy that's in that lineage.